Our gracious Heavenly Father, let us thank you for this beautiful day and this time that we can come together and do your work for the Cherokee people. Keep your loving hand over our soldiers overseas and their families here at home. Guide and direct each of us that we might do your will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Shelley, would you do the roll call for us, please?
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Chris Toth.
Here.
Bill Anglin.
Here.
Bill John Baker.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Leah Coates. Here. Bradley Cobb. Joe Crittenden.
Here.
Jody Fishinghawk. Here. Meredith Fraley. Janelle Fulbright. Don Garvin. Tana Glory Jordan.
Present.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
David Thornton.
Present.
Kara Callan Watts. We do have a quorum.
So, I want to welcome all of our people out in the audience. Look like we're all staff members, and I don't see any visitors with us this morning, so we're going to move right on. I want to thank everyone I want to thank Councilor Soap for sitting in for me last month. I got up that morning and thought, well, I'll go to Telefon at our meeting for there in Jay in Delaware County. It was really, really icy, so I canceled out. Then I talked to Councilor Snell. I said, well, I made it down there just fine. So there's a little bit of difference between 20 miles north and 20 miles south, so I apologize for not being here. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the December 15th regular council meeting. Do I hear a motion for those approvals? Approved. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Move right on to reports, and look like we have a short agenda today with not a lot of new items. So, Norma, I know we've got your report, but give you an opportunity to say a few words and give us some announcements or anything you'd like to tell us.
Well, I don't really have much. If you don't have any questions about the report, we'll make it extremely short.
Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Merriman?
Let me read it so I can ask.
Excuse me?
Thank you. Good report.
Thank you.
Community services. Let's see, Beverly signing in for this is Beverly Bars.
I hope mine's is short.
Does anybody have any questions for Beverly on the housing or anything? And I do have, if somebody, Mr. Baker.
I do. On your SIP homes, is that going now? I mean, are we actually...
The 05, we have actually started the developing stages in the 05. When I spoke to Charlie yesterday, he said that they're going to be interviewing 20 within the next 2 weeks. They've in the development stage right now, we've got 4, one in Adair County, Washington, Mays, and Muskogee counties. And the pre-development stage, there's Cherokee, Adair, and Delaware.
Okay.
So they have started the paperwork on those.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They had like 20 people identified. Is that correct?
Yes, that they're going to be interviewing. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's just interviewing. They're not done deals.
No.
Okay, I misunderstood. I thought there was 20 done deals, and then there was several people that applied, and they were waiting to hear so they could come in and get.
We've got a lot of applicants, but they've selected 20 right now that they're going to interview on top of these 7 that they've got. That's in the development stage right now.
Okay, because I've got several people out in the community that are really interested, but they don't know which way to turn, whether they wait on this deal or they try to go mortgage assistance or someplace else. And so, but you actually think we'll start construction on these ones?
Well, he's going to interview him, he said, within the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
So
6 weeks? No more?
I don't know.
Okay.
I hate to say that not being correct.
I won't make you laugh.
Okay.
Ms. Watt, let me get to you in just a second, but I want to follow up on what Councilor Baker had just talked to, and I've got a letter here. It says, this letter serves as a notice that you have not been selected as one of the upcoming 28 package homes at this time. Not being selected at this time does not mean that you will not be chosen at a later date. We are still in the process of conducting interviews for the majority of the 28 homes. That's exactly what you said. And we will have other projects to start once these 28 are under construction. Several different factors are taken into consideration when making selections for qualifications, such as they include ability to construct, being physically able or have helpers that are physically able, current living conditions, present and past financial obligations, and a background check. Please remember that our application list is not a waiting list. Our applications list only serves as a tracking system for our purposes. Your application will not be put into inactive status. Therefore, you will not need to update your information unless something in your household had changed from the time your original application was submitted. We appreciate you expressing your interest in this program. And that's signed by Ansel Barr. So that's a letter that they're putting out to people that have applied that weren't selected for the 28. Yes. I guess what I want to find out is they selected the 28 and how those 28 were selected. And if you can find that out for us, Beverly, and report back, I would appreciate it. The other thing that I'd like to see is how many were selected per county, per district, I guess I'll put it that way. Ms. Watts, you had a question.
I was trying to remember on the self-help, is it just once a year we take applications and go through I mean, you may take intake applications all year, but we only choose participants once a year, or how often do we go through that selection process?
Well, I know with the 28 building packages right now, they're going to go and they're going to select out the applicants that we have, the whole 28. I don't think they're doing so many a year. I think it's all based on what's in the IHP, how many we've got scheduled to build in our IHP is how many applicants they select.
So if I go,
Sure.
And make people more aware in Rogers County, because I know we've already had some successful ones, I believe, completed, but if more families sign up, do they have to wait another year before they're selected and there's another round, or are we going to try to fund as many as possible?
I'm not really sure on that. I can get you some answers.
I would
Charlie
appreciate
get with you on that,
Thank
how
you.
they're doing that.
And an email's fine.
Okay.
So, thank you, Mr. Sheriff.
Mr. Baker, then Mr. Garland.
And I'll get to another question, Beverly. I've got one 71-year-old woman that is really wanting to do this program. She's got 7 either sons or son-in-laws that can, actually do the physical work. Her concern is she's got 8 acres or something to that effect in trust or in restricted land over in Sequoia County where she wants to build this home. Her concern was none of the kids live with her, but when she dies, which she knows she's going to die, that she doesn't want to lose this house on her restricted land. Is there any way in the sign-up process or the deeding process or anything where there can be a right to survivorship or anything for one of her family members, because she didn't want to lose the land?
From my understanding, there is something there in place that it will go to the next family member, I guess whoever she designates
Okay.
home to go to. From my understanding, it's supposed to be set up like that.
Okay. That was her main concern, and she was wanting to sign up, but she sure didn't want to, because she said...
She can call the office and they can give her more detail on that.
Who did she talk to?
She can either talk to Ansel Barr or Carolyn Milby. And they should be able to answer that for her.
Thank you.
Mr. Garland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is there any word on the FEMA trailers? I think we were getting real close at one time.
Community Service isn't doing the FEMA trailers. I think that's in David's department.
A little later, okay.
Okay. Council Jordan.
Beverly, can you check and see where family is that I called about that's just off of 51 Highway. You recall that family? Could you check and see about their water and sanitation? Because I think we're about where we told them the end of the waiting time would be.
Okay.
And I've got another thing I want to talk to you about. And would you let me know by email
Okay.
where they're at? The other thing is, are you familiar with Rural Water District Number 3, their request here in Cherokee County for emergency assistance?
Billy has come today to talk about that.
Who has?
Billy.
Oh, okay. Is this the time, or he's not on the agenda?
We'll get it with David Sullivan's report, too.
We'll do Billy after
Yes,
that?
ma'am.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Is any more questions for Beverly? Beverly, I have a request. It's on the reporting when you sent, or when Charlie sends in the monthly reports. I'd like to, and the other counselors are probably not like me, but I have some problems on following housing. And I'd like to have it, if you give it David Sullivan, the way he's changed his reports. Now, we have a SIP home project. That's what we just talked about, right? Now, do we have another project that we're calling community projects?
No.
So there's only one housing project within community service, and that's SIP homes. Okay, well, I guess I've been misunderstanding some of the housing programs. I thought we had one we called community homes, that were it was like 4, 5, 6 families in a community that actually built those houses.
That's the group home, and
Yeah.
that's the way it was wrote up in the IHP. The ones like at England Hollow, that group, those are the group homes.
Okay.
Down the 05 IHP, they're building packages, and if they own their own land, then that's where we're putting the homes.
Well, that's what, and that's
It's
what
all
we're
the
calling.
same.
Is that what we're calling the SIP panel homes now? Okay. If you would, on those monthly reports, is this started date of when those houses started? How many were started, and then what counties or what districts those houses are located in? Because we'd like to see, how long it's taken some of our people to build their houses. I understand that, we get some of them out there and they go on for a year and a half, and I don't know if there's anything we can do to help you guys to move them along a little bit faster. But if you would, I'd like to report it to be by districts, if you could do that. How many were approved by districts and when the construction started.
They allow us 2 pages to send the report, so they like to keep it at 2 pages. That's why I always just put in there that we'll provide the housing information, because usually the housing information here is 4 pages long. So.
Well, still, if you need an extra page, we can pass something here in this committee to get an extra page if you need it. But I don't think we need to do that, so you could squeeze it in there for what you've got. Appreciate it. Is there any more questions for Ms. Barr? Thank you. Good report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The FEMA trailers, there was an email come through last week from Todd Enlow that we'd gotten 3 way back. Then there was 1 more that had been cleared, I believe, for 4, which leaves 8, and I believe 7 of those got cleared. No, actually all 8 of them had. 1 of them had tested right on the borderline. But Tom Elkins gave his blessing and said, here's probably what you need to do. Go ahead and get the trailer, do this, and it probably shouldn't be any problems with it. So they did get cleared last week. There was a requisition that I remember seeing this week, I think where they line up the company to go down and pick them up. So they're making plans to go get them. Finally. So that's good news. The one other thing I was wanting to mention, the housing additions that you all we put it in the Indian housing plan. We're moving on forward with that. You all passed it at, I think,
You're talking about the roads now?
yeah, the roads, the housing additions, going in and working with them. Spoke with Michael Lynn, gave him the list. We're going to recommend however many we can for $500,000, and then get them involved with because they've got good relationship with the counties to get those folks involved and save the cost on it. So we'll be choosing which ones in the next week or so. We will have to do an environmental review, which really shouldn't take delay anything at all, but that's kind of the process on that.
I'm surprised that you have to do an environmental review. Well, you may have to if they've never been overlaid.
Federal funds. The HOSDA funds, they require them.
That's right, yeah, you will. Mr. Baker?
Yeah, if you need any help taking those, just,
I knew you'd offer, so.
I would be available and handy.
Mr. Garland?
David, on that road project down that Wheeler Estates and Forum, just a small deal. I think they started with.
I think that, I'll check and let you know, but I'm pretty sure that she had, first thing, again, an environmental review, but I think that she had already been in the process of that. It's actually other money identified to do that with. So I'll check on that to update you.
Just the concrete report.
Yeah.
8 or 9 yards. Thank you.
David, based on that list that you provided to Marvin Jones with the additions ranked on, I talked to our county commissioners and they went ahead and got estimates and got everything worked up and they're ready to go on the additions that you all listed. So I would like to maybe after this meeting, give you a copy of this and,
Okay.
and we're ready.
You're primed and ready to go.
Yeah, we're ready. We took the list and gave it to our commissioners, and then we got the information back. They've got prices, how they went out and measured it, got the prices, will provide their men, provide their equipment, and they just need to know when they can start.
Well, I'm aware of one in Delaware County that's in real bad shape. We need to look at maybe 2. But any information you all have, please get it to me.
Mr. Baker?
Yeah, this might not even be in your area, don't know. But it's come to my attention that, do you have anything to do with the $15,000 down payment program? Okay. You still might have something to do with it. In that program, we were hiring a professional licensed cargo vendor type person to go out and inspect these homes. Mm-hmm. And they were given a comprehensive inspection that did the electrical, did the plumbing, did everything to these houses to come back. That was not only, I assume, a good tool for the nation to know that the houses were quality houses, that if they came back to us we would want. But it was also, I think, a great tool for the home buyer that could help them make a decision that, is this the home that I want to use my money on? And somehow or another in the last month, we've gone back to using internal inspectors on those. And, which I'm not saying internal inspectors can't do it, but the quality of the 2 reports is so far apart. I mean, there's not even a place on the internal report to look at the electrical, or to even open the electrical box to see if it's pre-1969 or and fuses, or whether it's got breakers, or if it's, and of course that's the number one place for a fire and hazard in a house is the old wiring. And do you know anything about that, or are they new inspectors, or?
I think that their concern was that they were paying several $100s for this inspection.
Yeah.
And the most prevalent thing that they could find out the whole deal was the qualification that they don't guarantee anything, you know.
Yeah,
You couldn't rely on them. If their electric caught fire the next day, wasn't their fault. They,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, I'm sure in this, maybe this,
But
Society,
that's really an Anna question.
they're gonna all put disclaimers on it.
Yeah.
But, after this meeting, if we could talk just a minute and just look at these two reports and maybe we could upgrade our report to a closer match. Okay, thank you.
And just to comment on what Mr. Baker was saying, and David, if you're aware of this one person over in Grove, where this lady gives, I don't know, around $90,000 to this home, and actually we did have some inspectors on it. I'm not sure they were in-house inspectors or what, but last couple of months ago, there was carbon monoxide poisoning in the house and like to kill the whole family. It really concerns me that I don't think that was even checked for. And he went in and looked, and the old heating condition in there was probably 20 years old, and that's what we're finding. So I think it behooves us if we could either get some more training for our in-house inspectors or actually hire some professional inspectors out there. And I know what Mr. Baker said, they all put a disclaimer on that if something goes wrong, but at least we've got somebody out there checking on the thing. I'm just wondering if we couldn't put anything on the seller, you know, guarantee a year of services on that house after they sell it. You know, that's something we may want to look at.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some things that we could do to improve on the thing.
I agree.
Take a look at it.
I've had other problems too. Anytime getting into an older house.
Yes. And the other thing is, I've heard some reports on people buying the double-wide mobile homes to where when they moved it in there, it didn't have any plumbing under the trailer and stuff was all ripped out. So, you know, there's some improvements we could do as far as inspections and some of those things too. So, we want to just keep that in mind, David, so we can at least beef that up a little bit better if we continue.
Well, I know the
program.
homes on the assumable, we've actually got a different form that we're starting to use now.
Okay.
And we've turned a couple down. Last two
Exactly.
that we inspected, we turned down. One was a 1947 model house, and they went in and redone the whole inside of it. The guy said, boy, it looked great inside, but looked underneath the house. Well, there's a reason. There's whole new flooring into there because there's water problems. And the new stuff's already damp and wet and everything. So you're right. We need to do a better job up front inspecting.
Is there any more questions for David on the housing? If not, we want to move up to this Water District number 3, David, and I think Billy is here with you.
This is what in-house is doing.
David, Billy, either one of them, just give us an overview of kind of what we got going on here with the district here.
Well, we were approached by Cherokee County Water District number 3 several months back about some problems they were having up in the area of Gord Lane and Mankiller Circle, which, if you're aware of it, it's around the 82 curve there on around the curve on 82 highway there by the Moody turnoff. A lot of MH houses right there. Apparently, the water line, when it was constructed many years ago, when the addition was built, wasn't done properly. It wasn't dug deep enough and wasn't bedded properly, and the water district had went in and tied this water line into the Moody's water line, which increased the pressure on it. When they did it, it started having a lot of breaks in the line and started losing a lot of water. And they had come to us and trying to get some assistance with replacing that line. Now, since all those homes, or the majority of those homes in there, are MH houses, and I think they're all still under management of the Housing Authority, they're not eligible for IHS money. So we sat down with David, and he went to his board to try to get some funds to help the district replace that line. He can speak to that. What we did in our program, kind of as a stopgap measure and as a temporary fix, we provided them with a pressure reducing valve to install there to knock the pressure back down, so they wouldn't be having as many leaks. And when they did have a leak, it wouldn't lose as much water. But David can address what the Housing Authority decided to do, or what they're in the process of doing.
I can't remember if it was October or November meeting. The board requested some more information, and one of it was a better estimate. than what they had. This is, I don't know, $15,000, $20,000 less than what they first proposed. There was a couple of other items, and I can't remember what they were now, of what the information they requested from the water district. Haven't got it yet, but, you know, maybe they're getting it on there.
Water District 3's meeting is tonight. We can, I plan on being there, and I don't know if David could be there. We can talk with them about it and see if they're any further along getting information that the Housing Authority Board has requested.
Because our board meeting's next week, and we can bring it back up then.
Mr. Baker had a question.
Oh, I know what it was. Excuse me. I know what one of the things was who were the other partners? Who else has got money, put money towards the project?
Baker, you have a question? You have a question?
I don't remember that. Did I raise my hand? So, and you don't think that this green binder is answering the questions that you all had talked about or something?
No, there was like 2 or 3 things that the board asked for. One was a better cost estimate.
Yeah.
And that's certainly slower, so it's better.
So it's better, yeah.
And the other was, what did I say?
The other funding.
The other funding, that was the better.
Okay. So, but, and I realize that the chances of them really just saying, hey, these 177 houses are a money loser, and we're just going to abandon that line, I mean, I would hope that wouldn't happen.
I don't see that happening.
And, but, you know, it's refreshing for folks to come around when their make or break is $100,000 instead of $1 million. You know, and I just really would hate for us to wait around until it got to the point that they were insolvent and went under, or cut off 177 houses that are primarily ours. That so I guess my question is, what would 177 wells cost us?
Figure close to $8,000 a piece. Times 177.
$1.5 million. Yeah. But because I mean these folks can't. I mean, you know, you can't live without water. I mean that's a given. And, of course, if they can find, I mean, I don't know if the county commissioners have any money to help, since they use their discretionary in another water district recently. But I certainly hope that the board and you all can come up with some kind of solution to help these folks, because cutting off 177 Cherokee homes would just be a disaster.
And we'll certainly look at the possibility, if they want to contribute some self-help labor, putting that in on our self-help request for next year. And if that's a possibility, get some money through the council through the self-help program to help on the project.
As long as we make sure we get good bedding.
Ms. Jordan?
David, how much proceeds of sale currently does the Housing Authority have on hand?
That's available for use, and I know this because we kind of talked some of it last month. Approximately 15 million. That's available for use. There's more than that, but there's some obligations that they have that probably wouldn't be considered available.
Do you not think the Housing Authority could take 100,000 of that 15 million and help this water district?
Well, I think they could.
Think they would?
Unless they get the information that they requested, I'm not sure.
And their information that they're wanting is who else is going to participate? Even though we have 187 families, Cherokee families, that's on that line.
I don't know how many houses is actually in there.
Yeah, I think where the problem area is a lot smaller than the 170 or 180 homes that you're talking about. I think there's 180 homes on that total route, but the problem area is just right there by Main Killer Circle and Gordon Lane.
Yeah, it's not going to pick up 177.
No.
It's like...
But if they cut the line off, it's going to affect 100 and
Yeah.
almost
That's
180
what I read that.
Indian Cherokee families. And I know that district and know they don't have any money.
Right.
Now, they do have a couple people that can be labor,
Mhm.
and they do have some equipment. But Billy, you'll recall, on the last deal we did with them, they under-anticipated, or something happened on what their share was going to be, and they actually even ended up going to the bank and borrowing the money to complete that project that goes up to Lowry. And that was, I think, at our urging that they go up there and pick up some homes that we were having problems with the wells. So they could provide some in-kind equipment and labor, but they don't have any money because we cleaned them out last year.
And that may be what David and I need to sit down with them and kind of go over the project and see what they can contribute. And that might be what he needs to take back to his board to tell them what the water district's going to do as far as in-kind and matching for the project. Like you said, they do have some equipment and they've got some folks that can get out there and work. I know they're working now on that water line relocation on the road project up there by their office. So when they get done with that, it may be something that they could get on this project.
Well, I think you could certainly take back to your board that they would provide what equipment they had and what manpower they had. But I don't know that financially they can go to the bank again.
Right.
I think they've pretty well tied up everything to get out of what happened last year, just to bring it to closure so that they could pay off that vendor. When we took that line all the way up through Lowry. And I really feel like we kind of put them in that position. They did underestimate. I think they did underestimate. But we urged them to do that. It was at our urging that we got them to take that line up there that far because it was benefiting some of our Indian families. So I certainly hope you will carry the message back to your board that we are hoping that if they don't continue setting on all that money, that proceeds sale, that they get it out here in the community. That's what it's for.
Mr. Snell. Mr. Baker, I have another question.
And it brings me to another question. Billy, do you have maybe 25,000 matching dollars that you can put with the housing authority to do this project?
I'd have to look at my tribal budget to see if I've got some unallocated funds in there. There's a possibility.
I mean, if we could, I mean, like I say, we're not talking a million, you know, and they've just got problems, unlike some districts where they've got problems the entire system. These folks have identified a route that they've got problems and has to be at Cherokee Housing Additions. And whether we contributed to that problem originally, don't know. And but I'm just saying, you know, the values of the property, the quality of life of the Cherokee citizens, and apparently there's a great number concentrated in a very small area. And for 10 cents on the dollar, we could help the water district serve them over digging wells, and we don't want to put in our own water district. And but that infrastructure is just so important, and I agree with Tina, you know, maybe the proceeds of sale would be a good place for this. And I think, you know, I think it was genius to come up with the idea of helping the infrastructure and these housing additions with the streets. I mean, they're just, you know, actually Tina and I did one of the housing additions that was targeted out of our other kinds of road money last year that could have gone to good use someplace else if we'd known that this was going to happen. But it's so important, and you know, these it's all the quality of life and values and stuff that maybe we should have put those roads in when we started instead of just graveling them and calling it good. But anyway, if you guys could come up with a way to work with Water District and work with maybe the board of the Housing Authority to fix this problem before it gets out of hand, I would be much appreciated.
Councilor Garland.
We have the same problem just about over in Fort Gibson area. We'd like to add that into the project. I don't know how many houses are involved, but they've had lots of problems with their water line. It's getting old and dilapidated and falling apart and leaking. And I don't know what else. We've got problems too.
Councilor Jordan?
I was just wanting to ask the two, who are advisory members on the Housing Authority Board?
I don't know that we have any advisory members. I know we have board members on there.
Joe was.
I think Joe was an advisory member, but we should have two.
I don't, if they are two, I don't know who they are. David probably knows who the board members are.
Who was the other one, Joe?
Well, from last term, it was, Melvina Shop House was one, and Audra. See, they're not with us anymore, so I don't know if we ever appointed anybody else.
What's the dates of those? Water district meeting?
Your meeting's tomorrow night, isn't it, Billy?
The Cherokee,
RWD3?
that's tonight at 6:30.
Housing board meeting next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Yes.
I would ask that, I assume it would be this committee that would appoint the second advisory member, that we get one appointed and start going to those meetings, so that maybe like Mr. Garland's district and some other districts that are impacted by the mutual health homes that are there, and in need of water, that we talk with his board about maybe helping some of those areas. But we certainly need to be represented. Apparently we only have one.
Did you make that in the form of a motion?
I'd make that in form of a motion.
I believe we would have to amend the agenda to actually consider that, so I was really going to ask that we consider it next month after research be done to make sure that we haven't already appointed somebody, and I wanted to know if Joe knows he's on there. Have you been attending?
I've been attending some, not all, but housing is something I'm really, Mr. Chairman, I care about, and that's one of the reasons I've been going to the meetings. So, but I'm the only one that's been going, other than I think Bill John went a couple of times, didn't you, with me?
Ms. Jordan, would you be receptive to that, or we put that on the agenda for next month?
I would just ask that we amend the agenda, because most of the councilors here, surely they know whether they're advisory members to a board or not.
I would ask you to hold up on that till next month till we do some research to make sure we can do that. But in the meantime, I would certainly, hopefully that you and Mr. Baker or whoever wants to go to those housing board meetings tomorrow night to do it, and we'll take it up next month. I'll certainly put it on the agenda, Shelley, but you make note of that.
Actually, I guess it'll be next Tuesday. Next Tuesday at 5:30? Okay.
Ms. Watt, did you have any other questions?
No, that's all I had. Thank you very much.
Mr. Baker, then Mr. Snail.
If we table it,
Okay. Mr. Snail, did you have a question?
I just had a comment. I asked the chief back a year ago. I mentioned that I'd like to be on the committee. He said, no, we didn't need no more people on it. Well, was he didn't need me.
Well, we'll take it up next month, and we'll have some research done on the thing. Yeah, Ms. Jordan, and then...
It will be an agenda item then next month?
Yes, it'll be an
Okay,
agenda.
So I guess, I'm, being a creature of habit, I was on there last term, I just kind of kept going, so...
Well, I think it's a good idea if anybody could attend those meetings, whether if you're a council member or an advisory board member or not. I mean, they're open to the public, so I don't see if we all want to go up there, we could go. So, yes, Shelley, if you'll put that for an agenda item next month, and we'll discuss it. Okay, is there any more questions for David or Billy Hicks pertaining to the RWD? Mr. Baker?
that board meeting tonight will be by Joe's Red Barn, or?
Yes, their office there at the corner of Jones Road and
Yeah.
82 Highway.
Okay. Well, I think it was a good discussion on the thing. I think we have some lines lined out of what we want to get done. Thank you, David.
And what time was it?
I think tonight's at 6.
6.
Moving on the agenda to old business, I see none. New business, I see none. I do want to give home health person sitting in the back there, Rick, I know we're not on the agenda, but I appreciate you coming out today, so I'd like to talk to you after this meeting's over for just a little bit. I do want to make one comment before we ask for announcements on here. David, I'd like for you to take a look at these two options here of inspections. The one in my right-hand side is inspection we've done internally. The one on the left is done by, it says Archer Home Inspection, but it's an inspection for housing that's really, really good. And I would like for you to look at it and maybe integrate this into some of our inspections, not only in your department, but every department within the Cherokee Nation, because this is really a professional inspection. It looks good, it's easy to read, and it looks like the guy who's done it really knows what he's talking about, even though this one probably doesn't look as well, but at least they did turn the house down. They didn't pass the house, which I'm happy to see that. So anyway, take a look at these, David, and see if we can integrate those into our system. Next thing is the announcements. Are there any announcements that we want to make? Seeing none, do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next meeting will be February 17th at 9 o'clock. Thanks everybody for coming.